In the heart of Milwaukee, defense attorney Gerald Boyle faced a decision that would define his career. It was August 1991 when the call came. A man named Jeffrey Dahmer, accused of heinous crimes, seeking legal representation.
Yes, Mr. Boyle, I need your help.
Boyle faced a moral and professional dilemma. Could he defend a man accused of such atrocities? But for Boyle, the principles of due process and justice prevailed. Every individual deserves a defense. On July 25, 1991, Jeffrey Dahmer was accused of 4 counts of first-degree murder. Within a month, by August 22, he faced an additional 11 murder charges related to crimes committed in Wisconsin. Investigators in Ohio discovered hundreds of bone fragments in a woodland area behind the location where Dahmer had confessed to his first victim's murder. Using X-ray records, they formally identified 2 molars and a vertebra belonging to one of his victims on September 14. Shortly after, Ohio authorities charged Dahmer with Hicks murder. We've already made a video discussing Jeffrey Dahmer's crimes in detail. If you want to understand more about him and his victims, check out this video here. On January 30, 1992, the trial of Jeffrey Dahmer commenced in Milwaukee County Circuit Court with Judge Lawrence C. Graham Jr. presiding over the proceedings. Gerald Boyle, a seasoned defense attorney renowned for his unwavering resolve, led a formidable team into the heart of the courtroom. His associates included Jane Smith, a seasoned litigator known for her meticulous approach, and William Thompson, a legal strategist with a keen eye for detail. They faced formidable opposition in the form of District Attorney E. Michael McCann. A seasoned prosecutor with a reputation for tenacity, McCann presented a chilling narrative of Jeffrey Dahmer's crimes, meticulously laying out the evidence against the accused. Witnesses recounted harrowing experiences, adding depth to the trial's gravity. Boyle navigated delicate interactions with these individuals, offering compassion amidst legal proceedings. Including Fred Berlin and Judith Becker, 2 defense experts testified that Dahmer suffered from a mental disease, specifically diagnosing him with necrophilia and other personality disorders. They argued that Dahmer's disorders rendered him unable to conform his conduct or resist his impulses. The prosecution claimed that Dahmer's disorders did not absolve him of criminal responsibility. They argued that Dahmer, despite any mental or personality disorder, possessed the capacity to appreciate the criminality of his conduct and to resist his impulses. Boyle and his team, Smith and Thompson, delved deep into the complexities of the case, analyzing witness testimonies and forensic evidence. Each member brought unique expertise to the defense, united in their commitment to uphold justice. Boyle's dedication stemmed from a rich legal background, honed over years of defending clients in high-profile cases. His passion for due process and the rights of the accused drove him forward amidst the intense scrutiny of the media and the public. As the trial reached its climax, Boyle's courtroom prowess shone through. He articulated Dahmer's defense with conviction, drawing upon the expert testimonies and his team's meticulous preparations. The trial captivated the public's attention, drawing intense media scrutiny upon Gerald Boyle and his defense team. Headlines blared across newspapers and news broadcasts, dissecting every twist and turn of the courtroom drama. Boyle and his team found themselves under relentless scrutiny, their every move analyzed and debated in the court of public opinion. Despite the pressure, Boyle maintained his composure, steadfast in his pursuit of justice for his client.
Our focus remains on ensuring a fair trial and upholding the principles of justice. We trust the jury to make a thoughtful and informed decision based on the evidence presented. It was February 14th, the culmination of weeks of grueling legal battles. As I prepared to address the jury, the weight of the case bore down heavily upon me. Jeffrey Dahmer's fate hung in the balance. The mental health professional's testimony echoed in my mind. I knew I had to convey the desperation and uncontrollable compulsion that drove him to commit these horrific acts. At that moment, I knew the fate of my client lay in the hands of 12 individuals. I could only hope they would see beyond the headlines and recognize the tragedy of a soul consumed by darkness. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, Jeffrey Dahmer is a man tormented by forces beyond his control. He did not choose this sickness, it chose him. Dahmer's compulsions led him down a path of darkness, where loneliness and sickness consumed him. I pleaded with the jury to understand the depths of Dahmer's despair, to recognize that he was a man so profoundly sick, so out of control, that he could not conform his conduct anymore. Every word I uttered was a plea for compassion, a plea to recognize the tragic descent of a man consumed by his demons. Dahmer's actions were not those of a sane mind but of someone lost to the darkness of mental illness. McCann's words cut like knives, painting Dahmer as a calculating villain. I knew this was my final chance to sway the jury, to prevent them from condemning a deeply troubled soul to eternal damnation. As I concluded my argument, the weight of the trial bore down upon me. I had done all I could to defend Jeffrey Dahmer, to humanize a man lost to his sickness.
The air in the courtroom was heavy with anticipation. Every breath labored as the judge's words hung in the balance. Victims' families, lawyers, and spectators alike held their breath, awaiting the momentous declaration.
February 15th marked the decisive moment, as the court prepared to deliver its verdict on Jeffrey Dahmer's sanity. My heart raced with anticipation, knowing the gravity of the outcome. I stood by my client, knowing that his fate would be sealed within these walls. The jury's decision would determine the course of Jeffrey Dahmer's future. Jeffrey Dahmer. On the charges of murder, I hereby sentence you to life in prison without the possibility of parole.
The silence that followed was deafening, the weight of the sentence reverberating through the courtroom like a thunderclap. Victims' families clutched each other's hands, their faces etched with a mixture of relief and grief.
In that pivotal moment, the culmination of months of legal battles, justice was served. Jeffrey Dahmer's fate was sealed in a single sentence. My thoughts turned to the families of the victims, whose pain would never truly fade.
Outside the courtroom, a nation held its breath, awaiting news of the verdict that would resonate far beyond these walls. The impact of Dahmer's sentence reverberated across the country, marking the end of a harrowing chapter in American criminal history.
Dahmer was ruled to be sane and not suffering from a mental disorder during the commission of each of the 15 murders. However, 2 jurors dissented in each count, reflecting the complexity and gravity of the case. As Dahmer addressed the court, reading from a statement prepared by himself and our defense team, I witnessed a man haunted by remorse and a profound sense of guilt.
I have never desired freedom. I frankly wish for my death. I understand that nothing I say or do can undo the terrible harm I have caused. My actions were driven by mental disorders, and I hope for God's forgiveness.
As the judge handed down the sentence, life imprisonment plus additional years for each count, I felt a mixture of closure and sorrow. The legal battle was over, but the weight of this case would forever linger in my mind. At that moment, I realized that justice had been served, but the wounds inflicted by Dahmer's actions would never fully heal. As a defender of the law, I could only hope that my efforts brought some measure of peace to those affected by this tragic chapter.